in big tech. Pull up the NASDAQ, looking even weaker here than tech really leading this drop. It is worth noting, though, oil and the conflict in the Middle East absolutely still on watch, also dropping as President Trump of the U.S. at their working towards an end to this conflict with Iran. Let's take a look at AVGO, largely for this drop in the NASDAQ. Obviously not the only NASDAQ name that's as of late. Micron, a little bit weaker. We'll look at L here, Marvell to the downside. I know Intel quite hard. So lots of tech moving after these Broadcom's. Obviously not the only, and lots of other catalysts and sectors to look at today, Sharif.
Sadera, Broadcom down 15% here to start the morning on a wide and weak software sales. Into that as the show goes on. Also, CrowdStrike really getting clipped after dropping yesterday with PanW. Another almost percent here in the morning, and then more information on this Tesla possible IPO, $75 billion. And ironically enough, you know, without doing the roadshow, they've already got a fixed price of $135. See exactly how that one opened. You got Intel today with a tie-up, Taiwan Semi, as well as IBM and Google also tying the knot on a possible IPOs. Smart glasses getting pushed to 2020. But it looks as if we will see some sort of Apple glasses this year or next year. And some of the earnings, Madeira, 5 is down 11%. Likewise here with AEVA down.
That C3AI was also really interesting, too. Some comments made by CEO. We'll get into that later today. Do a little bit of housekeeping while we're up here because, you know, we do have some numbers. 8:30 a.m. we're going to be getting initial jobless claims, some other productivity-related numbers, but I think jobless claims. And at 3 p.m., you get an from President Trump on, and I quote, beautiful clean calendar. So 3 p.m. we do get an on-camera appearance from potentially Watch BTU or some of the wording is not mine. It comes from his official calendar. No other data here that I'm seeing initial jobless claims number, but you get some comments. Looks like Bassett speaking at 10, Bowman, a Fed also speaking at 10. So things to be aware of today ahead of the big clean coal announcement. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, yeah. Coal is clean as when the entire team that decides they need to slide to every single bag for fun.
Yes.
Yeah. I love sliding.
On gravel, though, at least, and you're going to tear up their legs.
It's on the ground. I tell them we're long slide. I don't let anyone slide in the gravel in shorts.
No, of course no. Of course not.
Well, they let them. Like, it's... Yeah, the kids have fun. Congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to everybody that sold some stuff last night. CrowdStrike, Broadcom, everything. I don't know, like if you looked at the scanner they've got, it's easier to what's up today. The Mag 7 outside of is slightly up. Volatility's up. Even oil's not on. Gold maybe a little, 9% down for CrowdStrike, and that drop. No matter the beats, if they find something on, that's what they're going to be able to do. 15%. That one stings more because it brought a bigger part of the indexes. But only a week, and we got a couple of smaller items today. Let's see how those fare on a pretty red day to start the morning. Hope that there'd be some buyers when those other 2 IPOs come. So we'll see. I don't think there's anything kind of like space. Be a little bit of a mini litmus test. Last night's, I don't want to say bloodbath, last night's pause, deep pause in our little bull market we got going.
Hopefully it's not. I mean, all the software names are up, so you got that going at least for you today. So you know, rotate into some Microsoft or whatever out of some. I told you guys. I mean, literally, I sold right here on the air ARM and Marvell a little bit, reaping the benefits of that. It's not like we did in sales to actually matter, so it doesn't matter. In fact, but there's Microsoft up 1.39%. So trying to place if we want to look for strength. I'm actually got the short pants on today. I think some of this momentum is starting to come out of the market here. If we do bump up on the TQs, we're looking to go short on 85 for now, but we'll see where that winds up here. We have an hour and a half before the market opens. But yeah, the Knicks took care of business pretty easy there last night. It was a good game for a while, and then it kind of started to separate. So yeah, that should be a fun Yama. And I think they're the youngest team in the NBA. We'll see if they next day and defect home court advantage. Because you go down to
That's
especially in the NBA where it doesn't happen too often. Come back. $600 for Meta held again yesterday. So I don't want to come in here and be all doom and gloom about everything. To the pubs with Broadcom, obviously down. Marv talked about that briefly. Down to 280. I mean, it's down to where it was yesterday. A couple of days, got that huge bump through. Did do a little bit of sale up there, but yeah, down 7%. You know, like they are kind of like a baby Broadcom as far as market cap is concerned. That's going to be something to look out for there with Marvell. And I'm fixing fire on my phone. Might jump out at some point. We are testing new microphones here. There we've.
They keep hitting my head.
If that's any better.
The only one.
Yeah. So Marvell's down. AML down. I mean. I didn't even look at the big dog. I was going to short some of these ones that are a little more aggressive. But what is it? NVIDIA down 2%, something like that? 220. Okay, yeah. So not too bad. Wasn't this name just a 20 and change? Yes, it was. So down to 212. This could be a pickup at some point there. I think today is going to be a short-looking kind of day. I just saw Palantir upside. Some of the software names are starting to go, so not really sure what exactly is up with that. We'll have the reasons for this. On a day where I'm thinking negative, Palantir probably should down here, but it's nice to see them up a little bit.
There's a few announcements on Palantir.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of ridiculous. Palantir, McCarthy partner.
Google, right?
Then there's a Google Cloud Market partnership. Then there's Palantir and Kirkland partner. So maybe 4 separate partnerships. Like in the alphabet one, I guess, would be the biggest of the headlines. But also the software thing. So Palantir's good for a couple of software beat-up names are okay. But also, the Mag 7 today, like if I just do my quote board, which is going to have everything in the Mag 7, then what's actually up, Palantir, some things that were depressed before, like Netflix has been bad, the rotation, CCL is kind of weird. PayPal, not sure why PayPal's up, but like Microsoft, Amazon, both to the upside. Apple, press name that's going to be up. Why in the heck would PayPal be up 1.5%? That one, anything else that's eking out green today, I can tell.
Eli Lilly.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. The other one's
Where's
all
the
make
percentages on there?
Oh, this is the percent.
Oh, last.
Yeah, last. Okay. And then from when it started to trade. So Palantir's actually strong if you look to last night.
Okay, that makes sense. Today we're going to read to you guys. This is a medical technology company to keep an eye on. Enview. Here is FEED. Enview has developed what it describes as a GPS-style guidance system for tube placement in hospitals, helping clinics improve and patient safety. This week, the company highlighted independent that found significant safety improvements, reduced complications, and meaningful cost savings across a 5-hospital health system. With this technology now being used in 40 hospitals, FEED is certainly a company on your radar. We want to thank them for sponsoring this first moment of the show. So we've seen a little bit as well a couple weeks ago. So cut stock ticker feed back in. Thank you to them for sponsoring the show. Yeah, PayPal and what's up to Randy? We just saw him go through. I guess maybe breakfast is here already. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh,
look in there, and he's like right behind us.
This guy's got everything, man. All right, let's color shirt, Randy. I think it's similar.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It's
everything all right, Randy? All right, so it's good. Now we have a bunch of people around us now, so it's nice to see Michael, Chester, Randy.
Chester kind of set up for low key in the corner.
This guy got like his little plant on his desk, going crazy over there. But guy's too much. There you go, Joe. Always cracking this guy. More bye-bye PDT rules, so we'll see how that starts to infect certain
or infect the market.
Or infect the markets. Yeah, I mean, maybe people are starting to sell immediately. I think people buy then sell, I would think. So
actually, this is a good. Let us know in the chat. Like, is your broker compliant today? Like, is there no more rule for you, or do you still have to wait? 'Cause when we heard the rollout, it's like, well, some might not comply right away or might not make changes right away, but eventually you would see it. So yeah, let us know. I see MFD has PDT status still a year for me. Hood is someone saying 8th in there. Schwab is June 8th. Tasty Trades has it gone. So it's not going to be this, but it's still going to be a positive. Well, I mean, freedom I suppose is always going to be good. So let's call it like a pot for people to be able to do what they would like to do.
Yeah, most people saying they're on Robinhood is going to happen today.
Okay.
So that's cool if it's not. And just talk to your broker if there's any that one. Try to figure out what those rules are, because it probably is on the website. So yeah, 108.50 here into see as well. Yeah, it should be an interesting morning. Not really quite prepared to do much yet as far as like making a call on what's happening. I want to go NASDAQ, wind up bumping up. I mean, this Broadcom story, and we'll talk about it. They'll have the numbers in the back, so I'm not going to lead this one to death yet. We will be talking a lot about it. It goes down 14.8. I think part of the problem is where we were, right? And we talked about that with CrowdStrike and Palo Alto, and even the Marvells of the world. The ARMs. ARM is another one that's down quite nice as well. It's just it's where you come from, to where it's going, and I hope that they had already broken out, and that's by hopefully a continued bull. But when the street doesn't like what you're spitting out, you will come back down into reality. It's only back to where we were 1 week ago, actually. So it's not like the sky is falling, but not a great report here. Market's great. I don't think it was horrible. Like I said, we will go over some of those numbers, but on the top and bottom line. But we'll talk about some of the guidance and where it was weak. So yeah, I don't know. Broadcom. It was supposed to be about a 10 to 12% move or so anyway. 8.89%. So it's beating it, and generally speaking, we've had guests on what your expected number is, then the continuation couldn't. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening there with Broadcom. Building, ladies and gentlemen, is now Brendan Wickens. So we say he's awesome to that one. He's back. Everybody be on good behavior, Joe. And there as Brendan is back in the building. No snitching. Yeah, that was Ramin you're snitching on anyway.
No, apparently. So I
missed that whole snitch.
Apparently, it was a called Ramin a snitch.
Of course he did.
But I didn't see any evidence of Ramin snitching anybody at any point.
Okay.
Called her a snitch.
Yeah, I was more wondering like what the situation.
Because that's a big allegation to throw there. Just gonna throw something snitch like that.
Is acting the grenade right on Ramin's head there, and she I hope she brings some. Hopefully she's always got. And that one day that she gave us the popcorn, that was too bad it was burnt, but it was really good though.
You know what?
Like that popcorn.
That
middle of the day was good.
I have no issue with popcorn.
I never have that.
Really.
I know that was disappointing.
Why not?
It's a pretty there. Okay, so what is going on now? The market's starting to fall down even more here. What happened to Google? Google just lost $3 there, a straight line down there for Google. So I don't know what's going on there. We were just talking about it at 360, and now you're at 250. Ooh, rejects the outcome.
Oh boy.
You did like Wembenyama did not reject too many people last night there. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on with Google here, down 2 and off this top. So yeah. All right, let's go back over to the desk. Yeah, more stories. Looks like maybe today we could look at, who knows?
Yeah, I'll just go over the most recent headlines, that one you see on the screen, but you're just getting a lot of comments, it looks like, from Lebanon's chief saying that negotiations are, quote, shameless. They're rejecting the talk of the Lebanon, which again we were hearing were the 4th set of talks. Also saying that, quote, announcement is a roadmap to annihilate part of the Lebanon, since it's the closest thing to a rejection. In these talks, lots of strong words are being used. Just be aware here, end to this situation quite yet.
Yeah, headline-driven market, Adara. We'll keep our eye on any positivity. I see a reaction immediately in USO.
Yeah, I mean, well said. Certainly what we've been seeing as of late. Let's talk calm, though, because certainly no positivity to be found here. We're still trading at pre-market. really mixed earnings report here.
Yeah, let's the on the top and bottom line with revenue growing about 48% year, but that's all stuff that we priced in. That's the guidance. This was a big guidance miss here. So this is actually looking $14.2 billion in AI sales. They guided up $2 billion short of that. So you're going to get an immediate action after that. But the problem doesn't start. Margins also hurting as they continue to grow. They're scaling. Scaling means typically investing in capital expenditures can require money to come off the balance. Now, that hurts margins. And the margins got hit here 130 basis down to about 77.1%. But viewed in context, 77.1% margins for a physical product, far above standard. Lots of their VM legacy software sales. So they were trying to grow it double digits. It only grew at 7.17 billion year over year. And the theory here is, or at least the narrative, is that there's a pushback amongst top-level CEOs from insistence on bundling the software that he gives out, the VMware, specific integrated circuits, trying to from that NVIDIA narrative. They're not buying it. Sorry. Fourthly here, the insatiable $30 billion book-to-billing. I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the fact that Buck 10 revealed that $30 in new AI semiconductor sales quarter. But how much should they deliver? 10.8 billion. They can't get it out fast. It's kind of sort of like the RPO that when we talk about for cloud sales. That's a good to have, but if you can't the product, that's going to be a major problem for them. While the schmucks like us were buying this into the earnings, you had level management, including the big guy himself, Huck Tan, as well as co-founder Henry Samueli, and Kristen Spears, they collectively dumped $100 million worth of stock in the preceding 3 months.
There are some other earnings reports to talk about some of these during the rundown. We'll get back into Broadcom for you all during that rundown. But in the meantime, guys, AVGO, thoughts?
Well, the good news is, like, at least it's at a level. Well, that's the good news. It's a 400, the 50-period moving average. You know, like, the demand is still going to be there. I mean, the other side one would be, I don't think anybody was expecting this kind of pullback. Like, I would, if you told me it was going to be down 6 points, it'd be like, okay.
Right.
Oh, what do we got here? Some more?
Samosas. What was it? It was down the other day, too.
Yeah.
Get focused on Broadcom.
What? Samosas. What did I say? Yeah, well, if you told me 6 or 7.
I don't know what you're saying now. Now you're going back to the 6, 7?
No, but I would have been okay with that. Be like, oh, yeah, you know what? Pretty solid, not perfect report. You get the normal thing. Seeing it down 15% tells you where we might be at. You know, we're at that point where it's not saying it's still the big path. Okay, hooray, this is amazing. It's been an unbelievable rally, but let's take our foot off the gas a little bit. I don't know, Broadcom to me, that's not usually a trade. Like, in this tech today, like, I'm going to be on SMCI, and then throw in crypto. Like, those are the places looking. So I'm not here to tell you that I'm traded. But if I was looking for any more along the lines of, hey, we're down 15 points on a really widely held 400 lingers there, like just one quick SSR play, try to take in the maybe VWAP and not try to fight it, or like an afternoon fade. Like if it bounces all morning, an afternoon kind of fade. Those are the two lines up for right now, maybe that. We got August plays with a super chat. Should I have sell in May? What for a swing, for long term? What do you own and buy back when or trim things?
Well, I can answer that question pretty easily.
It's such a weird thing, like, because the reasons why people used to say sell in May, yada, 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 which I don't even saying is that you just so happen to have an event coming next week, and you also have the market's coming off a ridiculous win streak. And you would have, if you'd sold it like the beginning of May, then you out a lot. So like what like to me, I hate those. Not cyclical is not the right word. Those calendar. They're just. I don't.
The
like
word you're looking for, I think, is seasonal.
seasonal. I don't anymore.
So if you sold at any time in May, you pretty much would have been wrong.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, very easily is no. You should not have sold in May. You should sell today.
Oh.
This could be what's not any good. Okay. So I'm glad we went back to Broadcom. You see a couple minutes of this. But yeah, so I was just going to say, like, I, as Neil had sort of said here, we don't want to throw everything out just because of Broadcom and Marvell. Ones are catching drift from that. But remember, CrowdStrike also didn't do anything too special last night. But Palo Alto as well the day before. Both of these names to the downside, which gave a little bit to some of that tech trade. But here's the stock sell, and I just was going to say, like, just to that whole sell in May, just appropriate that you chatted that. You did have an opportunity to get out of this, and I think we did make sure that there was a little bit of selling, that we did on the desk here. So, coming back in, I still don't the boat if you're getting nervous about anything here. I mean, the only time people that should be nervous are the ones that they really. I mean, you just come where we were on, what day is it today? Thursday, Monday, Tuesday area. We are down here, so stocks can wind up holding. I don't want to jump here, but I do think it's going to be a short. Definitely doesn't feel today, yesterday, and the day before, and so on and so forth. We came the last couple of days, the number one stock on the list was Marvell, 13%, up 35%. There's all this sort of hopium in this space that's being deflated just a little bit. And, I saw some, I'm sure all these guys are fine. These are this way. If you're in this stock, and you weren't aware that stocks can also go down, then that's, we have more education to do. And it's just like there is a coaster to all of this. So that's the whole thing.
Stocks are not allowed.
This guy's too much. This might get me into IREN point, though, because now, right, so there's going to be some trades here. I just saw 6 up there for IREN. So, this might be an opportunity to get out sort of but you get out a shopping list and start to think, okay, which names would I like to be in list of what happened 5 to 6 days? Because that's SpaceX is coming, and SpaceX is going to take some, helium out of the balloon, sort of, right? I mean, raise capital to buy the IPOs. We saw yesterday and on this week, Google raising, people fearing Amazon's going to have to do the same thing. Everybody that is going to, have to look to very expensive opportunities to see Amazon up. But there's news about Amazon today, but they've been down now for 5 straight days. I mean, that hasn't happened very often for Amazon. So we're going to wait to see. It's a bump today, which it looks, I think it was deal with somebody today. I don't know. Over to Joe as he's waiting for me, I believe, at the big screen.
Welcome and good morning. Let's take a look at some of the activity from yesterday's session. I'm reporting after the bell. Now, we're trading around $409 this morning, but we're going to be looking at $100 strike price. Now, our bid ask, you can see we're sitting on a $13 spread. I don't know if that's going to necessarily tight, but what I can tell you is that this specific contract is going to be up very, very so just due to the fact that we're down substantially here. The open interest, guys, is quite a bit at this specific $61,000 name. That's quite a bit of size. You don't typically see that in something that expensive. And Broadcom, not the most commonly traded options contract and or under. As for the volume, 32,900 contract session. Once again, we were talking about the spread here. Watch out for that ask to really appreciate, and same thing with the bid, guys. Now, as for the relatively cool, but now considering we're closer to at the money, an increase in that Greek metric, and also your gamma as well too. But we also have to take into consideration, this implied volatility is going to be and priced in to some of these contracts. Now, we're going to be looking at this as a potential max pain level. Let's see if this floor can hold up forward. Let's take a look at some more contracts here. We're going to kick things off with NV at the top of our list, guys. $200 strikes. We're getting closer to this level, guys, but what we hear is open interest sitting around 22,000 contracts and volume around 20,000. I mean, that's relatively light on the put side of things, which we typically see some more activity, but spread throughout the strike prices. Not necessarily the case right now. That's going to be expiring today. Moving forward, we're going to be taking a look at Coinbase as well, too, guys. That $100 strike price expiring Friday. Now, volume in 63 contracts, but as Bitcoin continues to slide, you're going to see Coinbase follow along with it. Now, as for the open interest for 190 at that level, could this be a potential bait? Now, Microsoft going to be the last one on our list here today, guys. $410 expiring Friday. Volume and open interest. Volume sitting around 2,370 with open interest around 422. If Broadcom and NVDA can hold up some of these supply zone and support levels, there might be some more downside.
Softy doesn't look bad.
Hard to break through a little bit. You know, I was gonna go with your last point, Nvidia. You know, let's see if Nvidia can hold. I mean, I think something that's come. One of the names that has come in, and this is not really to do. I mean, Broadcom and where, you know, they're going to play in this pit a little bit, but different thing overall. We're talking GPU, and you know, Broadcom has the custom. It's not saying that they don't have the Rubin chip or any of that power like what Nvidia has. And Jensen's still going around saying, you know, spend money with us and you'll get X amount of return on investment and so forth. So I still think that thesis holds. Right back in here, period moving average, which we like. We talked about fake break yesterday and what to look for when they're legit. I think this is coming right into a nice level, kind of a level here back in October. Now look, NVIDIA's gone for 8 months here, right? So it finally is breaking out. So I would say come back into sort of that sideways, then we get a little bit of a bump higher from there on NVIDIA. So I think looking for NVIDIA, I just putting for some longs, and Dane was like, well, what about Palantir? Not looking for longs, looking for, well, what about Palantir? And because of what you said about Microsoft, I'm going to throw it over to you about that in a minute. It just feels like the names going in opposite directions today. So it's a bit of a hard what to decide what to do. I mean, the Nasdaq's down 1.2, and I think that's a lot of, is this trade over? But then you have names like Palantir going to go over Microsoft. That just seems to have a little bit more games. So maybe it's just a rotation out of the names that really been blarm, you know, and we got out of, I mean, look, getting into something yesterday at 400, it's not like, oh my God, I'm a genius. Like, it's only it's different because it ran to 416 yesterday.
Much as it's down now,
yeah, like,
in the afternoon show, it was like, oh, well, let's sell at 400, looks bad, but then it's still $16. It's just because it's gone from 200 to 4 ridiculously. But to the point of Palantir, I put that on the note as looking relatively strong. And a period hold at 100 Palantir, that's one of the reasons. It was also where it broke. So, but Microsoft has a pretty similar, you know, a couple of different. Hey, don't look now, but Microsoft is making lows. The absolute bottom. Slap a little bit, but look at the clean trend line. So 420 looks pretty good. Not even sure you see that here today, but now Microsoft looks pretty constructive. You have evidence until we get to the even. We do have some economic data today, so we'll get up to the just less to 8:30.
Initial jobless claims in 40 seconds. Forecast here 250 prior print. 250. We're not expecting a change. Let's wait and see what's come up. As in the meantime, while we have a couple here, this ability in technology, not always are we going to be talking about these small caps here, but this has some catalyst here, unveiling patented extreme climate battery with a couple that print. I mean, how does this small cap setup look for you right now?
Pretty good, Daryl. Let's see if it hangs out at VWAY.
Indeed, we'll have to find out. I mean, a couple hours to go, only a couple seconds to go until we get that initial job claims print. 215,000 again, guys, is the forecast. The previous, we are going to get this number. Jobless 25,000, so that's going to be about 10,000 more than we were expecting to move here, guys. Send it back to the guys too, just to get into another we had on watch today. Again, slightly higher than expected initial print. IBM tie-up. You mentioned this earlier. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, this is in development, Adara. Google, IBM, kind of developing a best practice, even really, software segment or new hardware segment, how they're going to operate with some concessions here. From IBM, they're going to platform something they've been developing, I think, for a decade. They're going to have that run on Google, so it's just to stay relevant here. So they're kind of the fact that they may not be top dog in enterprise anymore. These AI companies taking advantage, but they're thousands of consultants build and govern using the IBM consulting advantage. So they're trying to keep the closed delivery platform by IBM, since they already conceded that they're going to run this on Google Cloud. And then let's talk about the partnership structured so that enterprise clients can deploy IBM assets again, like Watson X, directly through Google Cloud. This allows, the C-suite individuals in the company to offset up and soft pre-existing committed Google Cloud. So if you paid, let's just say, $25 billion for the year and want to involve this deal, it can offset on the you've already paid to Google for that cloud service. So a good deal here between Google to be green on the day.
Yeah, IBM also one to look at with the, we know that IBM is involved in quantum. You've got that Quantum IPO today, which we're going to talk about. How do you guys feel here about this IBM look?
Yeah, you know
IBM,
what?
I love IBM.
I look at the stock, that's holding, but it's dead. There's way too much moving around here to sort of worry about just going. Probably more people will look at this and say, hey, it's be more proof that the Alphabet's dominant, how relevant that they are. But even that Alphabet looks interesting. It's if we don't flat bottom straight back into the upside. But on that, it's worth noting on this number, we small spike futures. But this, I don't want to call it a decent sized move because it's been trash. But there's a decent, maybe on the I'll show you the 3-minute chart away from decent bounce back right now, Bitcoin. And it is worth remembering how far we've gone down here. And you go, I bet you go to it and you're effectively underneath the February low, really, because the lows got put into 60. If you look at it from market hours, it was 61 something. There is lower than this, but we are at essentially the year bottoms here. A little bit of a false leaf rally. I was looking for maybe a 60K bounce. To put that on the note, but otherwise, seeing is happening now, this one might try to fill in the gap. If it does, that the reversion coming in. So it's going to require some patience. A little bit of a bounce here in crypto, relative at the bottom of the market, could just be because it's way more depressed than everything.
Quickly about another sector here, UNH is on our watch list today, up about 3% right now, talking about improving medical costs, favorable near-term data, in better Q2 earnings. So, that name, wow, what a comeback. We're looking at things, and all we want to do is talk about quantum and have Quantinium on here today. I think that's something to look out for. But yeah, UNH all looking to take out some of these highs. So congratulations. That's been sort of building a position over the last 5 or 6 months or whatever on United Health. I'm not in that name, but I'm in OSCR, so I was looking here as well. I'm in a little bit. I own some DIA and United Health, but Oscar as well. That's up 5% today I didn't see any individual news. I think it's just done this. So, they've had that huge move up to 25, a bit better in Oscar than we would have in you anyways. But, getting out of something that's been getting into something that's a franchise like United Health, that's not a bad switch. If Oscar can get back to this like 22, 22.50, 23, maybe out of that into an E or something. Because I really like the IBB, and I'm different. This is now biotech. Their IBB, or the one I'm in, is XBI. That's what I kept saying, XLV. So yeah, I really like the XBI. Hasn't been hot at all. So this is another one meeting, and I did that sort of rant yesterday on why I think it's very important to put in your, especially if you've had a good capital appreciation over the last little while, to SMH or something like that. That might give you a little bit better coverage against dual names. XB, another good example of that, where you can get into bio and not have to individually the names, right? I really honestly, and I could, hello, we host a show, we could talk about stocks forever, but I looking like it out of nowhere went from 850, all the 1150 in 3 weeks. It's a huge move. Like we basically got everything on Eli Lilly time highs. So there's something brewing here. They have that drug where they have in China that are, it's GLPs. It's not hitting the muscle mass the same way that the current GLP. That's in phase 3. Retide. So thank you. TrueTide is in its 3rd phase right now. So if that gets going, then you can just basically stick a Novo completely done.
Novo's already.
Everybody will be on that instead of Zepbound, or I don't know what the OV, all that kind of stuff. So watch out for Eli making a little while, especially if that phase 3 goes the what it. That's a little call there. All right, from tech names, healthcare names, some gentlemen in the building. Milani era.
Indeed, very happy. Rahim Alani of OCI with us today. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing excellent. Shining. We are 1 month from the 250th Independence Day of America, and yeah, everything's great.
Yeah, what's not to talk about today? Let's start here. You're speaking the 250th anniversary. Let's talk a little bit about Canada and the Kuzma MCA situation.
So yeah, there's always iterations that people don't know which way everything. But the sentiment, given that we're a month since yesterday, sentiment appears to be positive and looks hopefully some good thing in that Canada-U.S. window. Mexico's also, so it should be, I think, touch wood, we should be looking better than we were probably a few months back.
That's very promising. I know we also, last time you were here, I believe, Canada and India. Do you have any updates with those talks?
Likewise, so last week, the Commerce of India was here. I was able to do those things on behalf, and we got to see some interesting things. We haven't paused the window in quite some time. Anybody that's familiar with politics, a few hiccups, and I've unabashedly said that. We've had a few hiccups, but that's gotten a lot better. The Minister of Commerce was super upbeat on our part. They're expecting a deal, like hopefully it'll get done by year end in December, and now it's gone to November. So they're expecting to get done by November. I'm still of the opinion that deal's got to get done. India-Canada deal gets done. There's a lot of positivity mining that are going to be looking at on the India-Canada trade if you're looking at that space.
It's always sectors and stocks to look at as well. And I think speaking of stocks and sectors, the stock and space has been really hotly with that SpaceX IPO on the horizon. You have a couple Canadian space stocks to bring to us. Yeah,
again, we always talk about Canada's a little bit. We look at the U.S. stock screen, and Sean and I chatted about the week when we met about the SpaceX IPO and all the space names. Canada, we've got a few small names that are providing technology. They're in the space. So look at that play. And some of these stocks have done pretty well.
Yeah, I know there's this one that you mentioned. I've pulled this pretty good look. MAL is way. Do you have any more info on either of these?
You look at their 52-week, 21 to 60, sitting at 53. They just opened a new facility and actually just announced an agreement with BAE, their space system. So again, if you know BAE, or most people do, then that's a stock that just announced that. So their in-space role is one of their channels. So that's why we looked at MDA on that side. $8.5 now. They're supplying components, aero components used in rockets. Importantly, their Q1 came out 53% up year over year, and towards the higher end of their 52-week. The cool thing about these, and again in Canada, these are, we'll call them larger caps versus the U.S. referred to them as small mid caps. But you're at 100, 120 a year. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, both of these, I think, great looking daily charts. Let's hear about TE, kind of switching over to the mining related to critical. I have a couple questions. So, one, how do you come across this sector and think this is going to be a sector to watch right now?
The space part or the critical minerals?
Just in general, the combination.
Well, I think minerals, I've been on here harping about critical mineral for a couple of years. Gotten really on vogue just with what's Project Forge, Project Vault, X War, all Washington, when we're spending a lot of time in Washington, now making investments into mining because, like the chessboard is full of pieces, but if, for example, China comes, it's not like you can just change and put another on. It's not like you're changing a line. Once the piece is off, the piece is off. So now America realizes it, the Middle East realizes it, everyone realizes that there's only so many pieces you can go and get. These companies are to ensure AI centers, all the things that are needed in technology, and need all of these things like gallium, like tantalum. We've been chatting about here is copper, zinc, tin. You're going to need that, whether that's happening post-war in Iran, whether that's builds. So I think this is a really key sector that people should focus on.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think there's connection here too as well. So let's go over these. One of them here, as I already mentioned, TECK. Why do you think is poised to benefit from this situation?
Again, like we typically like the smaller cap, bigger delta, but you're getting that delta in some of these larger cap names. Been around forever, but they are producing copper. It's one of the names that, hey, how do I go to the picks and shovels? What's happening with the space side? You're going to what? You're going to need copper. You're going to need, example, Tech's one of the bigger copper players out there. So if you want that safety of, I want to go cap, don't have to have the risk of the smaller cap, but still get the upside on that. Then Tech's a perfect name, right down the fairway on that. Looking at germanium tailings as well. And mining is once you take out the metal that you want, the rest of the stuff kind of on the side. And there is technology to extract. If the mineral's not at a price point where it makes sense, leave it. And now with germanium as an example, they're removing the germanium out of the tailings.
Interesting, yeah, lots of...
Sorry, I'm nerding out on mining with...
No, of course. I want to mention as well, AAPL trades in Canada as well.
Yeah, Almonte, that chart, I mean, $3 it's a phenomenal looking ticker. Tungsten, they've got production, and they have in off the U.S. They've just moved their Canada into the U.S. Smart play because looking for, obviously, and they've owned some other tungsten assets, Spain, Portugal, Korea, some other, but the big one is onto the Korean one. So if you're looking at tungsten play, you're looking at NASDAQ, and you look, it's already at a 10 bagger, then not a bad place to look.
Last but not least, here, CRTL.
Yeah, small cap. I was chatting with the CEO. Actually, I know you guys had him on weeks ago to talk about antimony that's going in all of the places. So, another key mineral that's being looked at in the U.S. by Canada. People are looking at antimony. There aren't a ton of antimony players out there. They are one of the ones that are out there. So I think that's an interesting look at. It's on the smaller cap side. You still get potential on the delta. Stock's gone from 45 cents to I think about $1.50. He's sitting around $1. There's an opportunity there. It's also you got a safe jurisdiction and looking up in Ontario. So it could be an interesting play on that.
Shout out to Raheem, always looking sharp. Little man back there, he's got his on. He was. He's like, did the Jays win? Oh, sorry, the Jays lost last night.
They've lost
Yeah.
in a row.
We were 100. Blow that, and then you get.
The good thing is the AL really blasting. I think we still might be in that last wild card.
I think we're okay. We're in the
Close. We were to go, but
wow. What? I mean, we had Sierra on, and
yeah.
that's like a really good looking chart. Now, obviously, you've seen the medals go. Raheem mentioned a couple of names. Going as well, obviously. The upper space. MP trying to get off the. You know, it's like you get off a little bit. You get out there. Finally get your turn at bat. Good pitch to hit. And you hit a one hopper with some gas on it, but it's right at the. It's like, no, dang it, swing. The in swinging, but it just does not want to. Like, this has been trying to feel like forever. It's not really forever, but consolidation, sometimes the better it is. That's fair. This bounce where it failed the 70, 73 level here on the daily chart, if you hold on to the 50 and the 200, put in a good low. This one seems primed to go. And sometimes the longer you consolidate, you just drop in effectively the same range since last year. And of a breakout, not much today. I mean, it's down 2, but not going to do anything for a day trade. But watch if it can hold the first day that it actually holds above this 73 area. I think that's the breakout day. We also got downgrades at the screen. Well, we're going to do that in just a quick little second, which is how about nowish?
Just taking a look at some of the analyst actions here. We're going to kick we typically do. At the top of our list, we have Lululemon getting its price target reduced $70 to $130. So have the downgrade side here, guys, going from a buy to up a little bit more than a fifth of a percent here now. $670 being lowered to $40 by HSBC. Now, moving forward at earnings a couple of days ago, guys, you're down 3.75%, but also going by to a neutral weight. And UBS increasing its price target from dollars to 90. Tronic up 2.4% here today. So some positivity out of things. We're holding that neutral weight rating, but we're price target from to $85. Moving forward, let's take a more positive things, and that is going to be crowds. We're down 9.7%, but we're going to be holding that buy rating and our price target to $70, up from $525. There will be a little bit of an adjustment at the current price, sitting around $169 roughly on CrowdStrike with that Ford lit. Adara was talk morning. Now Broadcom down 15% here, guys. This was also on our options activity. We're going to be holding that buy rating at bet and increase 5 to 540. Moving forward, 5 below. Shreve mentioning, guys, bag here, but we'll keep things on the positive side of things, even down 11% here this morning. Perform rating, but increasing our price target 43 at Bernstein. And then we also have here, guys, United Health Group up 2.8% here, going from a neutral to a $450 target, up from $420 by BM.
I mean, kind of a rough look for grades.
Yeah, it's weird.
3 of them is, I suppose. But the one that actually, we see healthcare, but the UNH does good. UNH is it was in this one, it rejected the 200 period moving average, and I was like, well, that's going to go. That's all you're going to be able to get. Fair enough, and that is what it is. Same projected earlier in the year. Also where it dumped in May. That same price here, price level, is now bouncing, like the 375 to 380. Like, this is a bull flag potential breakout. There's gap left to fill, and it's the biggie. But yeah, nice little coil here, 400. You can watch out. I mean, if there are upgrades, they're all names we're talking about in terms of earnings.
Strike and Broadcom,
All
the
three of
upgrades are all down 10% today, so someone might.
I've never seen that before.
Something. Just we'll talk about this a little bit, but this Quantinium's coming. You know, the 50s looks like it's going to print in the 60s. Something tap or anything to really talk about as of yet. Any size based on your NASDAQ names, we won't get any information until so. You know, nothing on this as of now. Figure out the tap. And of course, make sure watch list. Everything you need to know. All of these names. There it is. Shares of the stock price dollars right now, 53 to 55 range for and wait. CBRS, the most recent one, came in and did disappoint. Not disappoint on that first move high 80, but that was the best it's ever gotten. You know, just kept on getting hit the rest of the day, and you know, since an IPO up days basically, you know, and then all the way to the now. So we'll have to watch. This name came out at 5 or something. 350, sorry. All the way down to 230. So almost like, you know, almost dropped in half. And looking to go a little. Actually, I could have added to this thing, you know, like a break of 9,210, whatever that 52-week low is. Put it up on, just to get that 52-week low for you. 211. So, you know, that's basically breaking right now. So we'll have to wait what winds up happening here low. The volume's not huge. This is another one to watch out for. You know, quantum people that might have taken it here may take a shot now. Some downs on CBRS today, especially with the space. We saw stocks is still going to the down way. The NASDAQ is now like
A little bounce.
we're getting closer and closer. I mean, now, because we're making up, this is now come back. We're going to watch out for this 200 period moving average now. TQs as we're starting to make, we're still down 1%. We were down 1.25 earlier. Come back as well as this name got to that 420 through and hold that 420 up to 4 Tesla trying to go here as well. Look at that move we had yesterday up in a complete recovery back down to the down for today. Watch out for this price right into there. 4 coming, and I know we always joke around stuff, but I mean this is that does seem to have some kind of around that if that comes into play here for Tesla. But even Bitcoin, right? We mentioned that's on a little bit of a run. I have that. The note is out now. I wrote 50, so we're getting pretty close to the now on close 37. You know, when we wrote this, we were much lower, so we'll wait till Bitcoin can go. I think if Bitcoin does go, that's a fall we would like to. Yeah, a lot of different trade ideas ready to go. Say to of course, that was a great opportunity to get some more mining names, get some Canadian exposure. Talk a little bit about space, some names that could be affected with that moment. Coming days, including today, we will have space to trade. That's going to be an exciting. We'll have to quickly get our lunch and run right back. I don't know when it's going to open. Get a good idea today when UNT opens.
The best is how long you hold this pose on IPO day.
You just kind of
sitting,
just kind of wait.
Like some you might move your hand, but you don't really get out of your seat. And confidently because it's kind of the same thing. You don't know when it's going to open. Sit around waiting for it to be away from your desk in the event that it does. But it's out there that makes
trade on IPO day has been going short.
Oh, this was a bit short. It was a way better short.
Rand loves croissants.
Yeah,
it's very.
Well, that's fair.
Very
awesome.
True.
I love it.
5 feet away from us, mowing down a critter right now. So we say shout out to Randy. So All right, guys, let's go back over the desk. It's 8:55 right now. I guess we're just going to keep on moving here. Should be a good day to trade. Finally, the Nasdaq starting out 1%. Not that we want, but at least it gives some volatility back in the space. Able to trade a couple active names for you in just a half hour when this market.
Yeah, I want to go over a couple stories before we get into the rundown. Just Tesla on low and saying that there could be some sales opportunity of 60,000 to 1. It's if Tesla brings the wheelbase Model Y out. But in the meantime, let's talk. This was mentioned by the guys at the desk over here on our watch list. Lots of European announcements made today.
Yeah, Darren, they're going robotic space, quietly dominate vis-a-vis the robots that outnumber humans now at their warehouse. They unveiled the next-gen Proteus robot. Not sure how to pronounce their entire warehouse floors, rather, limited to the dock areas. Investing about 10 billion euros in the upgrades with the creation of about 25,000. Always a good look there. And to get the European regulator, maybe a little bit off your back, the expansion of the Stark tote handling robot, also expanding the Vulcan robots with and they're going to roll out else into an additional, I should say international market. Amazon trades on the day, Dara.
Yeah, I think another one ahead of the bell because we're not going to C3 AI. This report was revenue dropping by more year over year. This was Q4, so we also got the annual revenue for
Mainstream media is going to focus on that top and bottom line beat. What they do, though, is what the comparables, as Adair mentioned, big drop, 51.6 revenue. That beat against low Wall Street. Let's compare 8.7 that they brought in the same quarter. That's basically a destruction there. Also, 35% of their global work by about they're cutting 1,000 workforce down to just about 700. That's going to sell 100 annually, give or take. Also, gross margin. Guys, the typical gross margins for Street is 75. Theirs collapsed. 52% of it is being blamed on the poor sales, where they're saying the quarterly underlying software profitability, massive hit. And last but not least, in the returning CEO, Thomas Siebel, he openly blasted his call. He characterized quarterly sales performance as unacceptable, surreal. These are his words. And disappointingly, it's going to be a top-down dismantle and reorganization of the sales team.
Yeah, do you guys think any improvement here with C3 AI now that Siebel's...
That's the bottom. It's when you beat expectation in a situation where you're down, you're cut in half year over year. That kind of tells you where maybe I'd feel better it being a turnaround if the price action even remotely do the 20%. This was the stock that shouldn't suffer 20%, and it seemed to me like right close we're getting, and then it completely reversed the move. You're flat now. Feels like a little bit of a nothing burger. There's always at least potential. I suppose that bounce trade was lucky in the aftermarket for C3A response to this prior resistance. That could be a little bit telling if it's able to hold on to that for a disappointing 500,000 shares in volume. It gave you your 20% move, was setting up a squeeze today. Unfortunately, didn't happen. What are you going to do? You don't, because you think, hey, still got that shoot, it's got to. Didn't really doing much. Maybe one to come back to bouncing clean on shore. You can see it over the 1120. I'm using the middle here. There's too many other names moving nicely. That's around with C3.
To indicates. GME's down at 22 bucks. We were trying to look at yesterday. They had that earnings report. Man, nice little bump. GameStop fell right back on GameStop. I mean, so just trying to watch 100 period moving average. Now moving up. Good was up 10%, faded all day. So I just want to, I know there's a lot of traders that are looking at GameStop, and this could that we want for it. I mean, here's a little bit of a better look on a daily. Didn't want to use 22, but there's the hold. Came back in on what the reason we're late March, I guess, into $22, spiked all the way to now has fallen back into 21. So that might be the ad you're looking for. But, you know, we can wait to see what you're at. Pretty much all last fall, which was great, and then held the nice bump we broke. So that's going to be a level to look at. You can hold that long. If not, maybe it's a start into $21 today for GameStop. I'm not sure if for right now, games on my radar just because of the level. Watch out for 22 break 21. That could be your trade of the day, man. Just looking for 75 cents, $2. So GameStop on radar volume, but don't throw it out too. That's all. So we'll have to give us a continuation play here for We're going to go over to Neil and then back over to the desk, and we'll do our...
That's right, because we are last 30 minutes before the open. That means this hour is given to you by Securities. Centerpoint gives you an extensive borrow list from multiple locations, along with designed specifically for actors. Visit these.ca/TraderTV. Try it today and get your 90 days commission-free points. And it's 9. Let's talk about some futures. Get a watch list and roll you into the... What's the slight back?
754 to where we closed.
You're muted.
754 and a third. We closed out yesterday on the little bit below that. Oh, sorry, we closed a little bit at 755 support that we've been speaking of for a number. We're a border dollars below it right now, so we're going to say, look, a bid if that key area of support yesterday. That's going to be if we really catch a bid. Reason start moving up 760 as result 2. We start like that kind of day already starting here in the morning. Down percent, Adira, we're looking at support.
Sean's on the website. You know what else you can find on a Trader TV Live watch list? You can go to this link in our YouTube video. Get this sent to your inbox for FREE for single day. Earnings of economic data. What else? Please. We're going to kick off with the name that opened our watch list today. First is AVGO. Unfortunately, at pre-market lows is down. A pretty mixed.
Concerning guidance is our top and bottom you growing at a healthy 48%, but let's get right down to it. Quantitative desk is right after the earnings report projected their Q3 AI chip sales would accelerate to 16 billion. That is below the 17.2 billion by the buy side. That's a huge miss just right off the bat, and probably down. Also, gross margin contraction. Spoke about growth requires expenditures, capital expenditures margins in the near to term, and they're down here about 7 basis points. 0.1%, but you really need to view this in, again, 77 is for physical good. VM legacy software, hot gung ho, include his VMware with his custom ACE like NVIDIA software and their Hopper or Black you're buying. Back here from Wall Street with a lot of CFOs and knowledge. Seems to be a bit of a headwind. It only grew 9%. That's quite it. Also, there was extreme supply. CEO Huck Broadcom had about $30 billion in. Of those $30 billion, we're only able to satisfy 10.8. That's a good good problem to have. It's not a good problem to have for multi they have now had. Last but not C-suite the three top people here, Huck, Dan, and Henry, as well as Kristen Spears, who is the CFO. They dumped about $100 million of seeding in 3 months.
Yeah, rough look for Broadcom. I also hear Apple App Store stats, I guess, before the bell. Their App Store ecosystem at $1.4 trillion. This is the market seems to care about. But as Broadcom, what are your thoughts for today?
I mean, down like we were 15%. It's probably a surprise to be in the name. Be saying this, but CrowdStrike you could simply be seen on several lists names, but not these guys. Level, it'll be a good cycle all day and tomorrow. Doesn't get there today. Down 15 points. Like your basic, when you're down this much, and it'll be, yes, the uptick rule is going to be in effect. I just got one, hold the low, reversal off of the open, get one to get to V. What about that forward level? You got to like 390. So there's a good $10 range. We can see that at the, and you can see like we're trending down. So it looks like it's some kind of a little bit of a dump. Probably in the first like 10 to 15 minutes, I might look some shot at this on Broadcom. Yeah, unfortunately, selling and taking profits, and the timing of being to the party. So this report gets the brunt of it.
That's not good, man. AI come in at 16 billion for the quarter, below billion. We have difference too often the expectation for names. So we're, I look at the triple levered or some of these more names like a stocks. I think it's a short. We always are moving average. So haven't changed despite the Nasdaq making a little bit of a. We are down a little bit. We talked about where Nvidia was of 212. It did hold. That's going to come into play again. And I said that if it was going to be a long around until 210, 209, 210. So nice to break right here. This 50 period moving straight on NV. Yeah, just for Broadcom by itself here. Things are difficult to trade, and the earnings come in sort of as expected now, and I got to get rid here. But Broadcom is, let me make it for you guys right here. And what's the wrong is the high. Broadcom treated those opportunities that maybe it's a 2 or 3, and I'm just editing this as we go here and trying to talk at this. I can't do very well. Or really do anything. Let's just zoom back in here. So give us it at a nice spot here on the 50 bridge, right back into buy. So we know that this name gets bought back up. This is a part of the story. I've never owned any Broadcom, but I maybe to do it. Let's give it a couple days. If we do down into between this 3 area, I think that's a buy. You don't get good companies 200 period eventually when we're in a bull market, and I don't think this bull market. I haven't heard any 200 period right here, which is what I'm trying to zoom back out for. That's why it was right there, right? We hadn't done anything this 25, so we're going where we hadn't really even tested the moving average. I mean, it was well about here on maybe the AI trade, and then it was just the upside in April. Let's wait to see if we do back in. This is not like bulletproof or anything. These moves, and we did this yesterday with something I can't remember. This was 23%. Went into bull. So this kind of a move. Well, I don't need to do the math. Cent today. So do 5 or 6% down? Yeah, possibly. And I think they look to Broadcom. This is definitely a 3-day ruler for me. We saw Joe actually Broadcom was upgraded. So one of those things. And by the way, we did have another, I guess, with Boeing here, sort of a tarmac. I don't think it's something about landing gear. We just heard it in our ear long ago, and Boeing. But there you go. Israeli military. Okay, so I don't. But all I heard was Israeli insiders. All right. Well, Hopefully someone's not supposed to be. It's not that big of a deal. But USO coming from sort of talked that he didn't like the way Ned's dealing with all of this again. So we're going to wait to see if hopefully something can here with, you know what, at the end of the day, there's oil coming back, 150 a couple times. Looks like it's trying to get back. Broke this 50 period since the start of the war, basically. And we just did it right there. We bumped up. So I think what you're really looking for here of 127 and change. Right now you're at one. They're not too far away. One headless this thing, and then I think we come back into 110 there. We'll just keep our eye on that noise. SpaceX. Wow, this gets story number 2. Then IPO, then CrowdStrike. Let's go find.
Airline thing with Boeing, it was a left, thankfully it was not around. Unfortunately, some workers were in what the airline is describing as a, if I get more detail, thankfully does not sound like there were any casualties, injuries. Let's talk here about SpaceX here, one of their rockets, or if you will, and SPCE could be rocketing here in this IPO. The valuation more than people were maybe hoping.
7 trillion, not quite the 2 we had been speaking about. We're talking now 135, raising about $75 billion. That's the largest in financial history, and it likely Elon Musk, world's first trillionaire. Let's see how it all fits. There's a lot. So there's a big debt bailout to speak about. The amended prospectus that they released mandates to the IPO. SpaceX is required $1 billion of the IPO payoff loan that they had encountered, and Musk had taken underlying debt of X and XAI. That's a social media company. So right away, you're going to have proceeds looking to be paid. Secondly, he just fix it, take it or leave $135. That brings of Wall Street tradition. They didn't the flexible thing, like say 120 to 140 bucks on that 135 ahead of the show. So we'll see how that tracks within. But there's also, because, sorry, I should say, of the 0.7, it's going to be included in the NASDAQ 100 right away. And that basic generated about $30 billion of automatic, non-negotiable by passive, combined with the tight float, because they're not only put 3%, mechanical demand will create this upward price. Initially, let's see if it actually there. And guys, they're trading, if they come to the $135, they'll be trading at 9 times their annual, entirely because it's pitching itself, this AI info. The prospectus relies on a theoretical $1 trillion address built on these orbital data centers. A lot of typically Elon Musk, and he knows to deliver.
Get today potentially for this TSLA, what your other SPCE. The new ETF here, NAS, is looking at the space for June 12th.
Well, June 12th will be a big deal for all the whole market. I don't care who you are or what you're looking at. It's gonna be the only one that's of interest yet, but on the midst of this pullback, is people probably rocket last. It's getting closer to this one like prior high at the beginning of the year. It's also the 50 period and the $100 level. Maybe a tomorrow thing, maybe early. It'll have one last hurrah off of this SpaceX. So that would be the one that I'm watching. We're going to drop 10%. So yeah, that's not today. It could be decent or a better chance. Second IPO today. I know we're going to T, but there is also, and actually a little larger, is INIO in NEO, and it's an energy play. So data center and energy obviously is going to be a big one today, and there is a IPO more in the energy for space sometime in half week looking for that.
Look, obviously, I feel bad for this time last week that I said it's time to sell. I said, you know, June 12th, not a great time to own games, right back in. So up on the back for that 30% move. I'm not a share, even if I was. I mean, we trimmed some of it, and I still like this. I just, you know, we gotta have that, and space isn't any money. Like, none of these names are gonna make money. It's so all of these. I mean, we suffered. This was about it. This was. I'm not gonna, you know, pat my that one. I mean, that this was just running based on sort of a short. So that's all the way back in. But you know what? It's gonna be. So you know, I don't think this 250 area that there's been really good pretty much all year. I mean, this goes back to last year, April. You know, that you've had a big move. You've had, this kind of looks like the VIX a little bit. There's nothing like, you know, a little bit of warnings. It's right back in again. And then there we go. We had a huge up move there in SPCE. So, look, names I've been sort of touting Refrain there for her ASTS and Rocket Lab and whatnot. At the same time, you know, you got to get to picking up opportunities in the stock market is different than actually books. So, careful with where you're investing. I just think let it cool down. I don't think you want to space until maybe a week after SpaceX. I mean, anybody that was interested in space, Rocket Lab, or, you know, AST, I would just watch out for here in order to get ready. That's all that it is for me. I think that space is now 135. Yeah, good luck. That print's gonna come at $400 or $500. Like, I'm just joking, not joking. 0.77 trillion. Most that stock ever gets. Like, I have no. You could have a huge, like, even Cerebrus was
85 or
185, and this,
how many people have ever heard of that
thing? Like, this is not the same thing. We're still well above, maybe 15% higher than their 185 price, the IPO price. And so, I don't know, 135 is a shot. That 1.7 is like for what is going to trade. And I say it's not super excited to get involved long-term be open for SpaceX, but I'm putting in marketable orders right off. See how the market makers and it itself treats all those buy a week from tomorrow.
Around the corner, but there is one IPO that's actually, just look at their website. QNT, this is a company, and they're going probably very likely to go public with you and Joe in the midday.
Great if it shares of its Class A common stocks of about 6. It also granted its underwriters about days or 30 say to buy an additional 4.2 million shares in that Class A. So let's see. It's an upsized offering, Adair, so it's oversubscribed. We'll keep you guys about the theoretical during the mid.
Details here on this. You can find this on XHGTV above the range, and even that range was above the. So could be a pretty big one here for watching this at the open, Neil.
Going to be the plan. This isn't. Look, this is not. It's not. It's not Cerebrus. You can't make them in, but the fact that we just had come out and basically say a quantum, it puts it in a space that's a little bit more apart from the despite the fact that I am a little bit larger, be on the radar. It's something to show you because it has no. There is that. It would be Rigetti. If there's any enthusiasm, already concede on Rigetti. So if we get any pump, we get a pump, it'd be really easy to 27 level. A chance to be breaking down on Rigetti up. Like if we're going to go in here and then this IPO comes out, seeing it fail even like 25, like that's little place. Okay, all that exuberance and whatnot, and then initial wave of buying to be done comes in, be at an interesting level on sympathy. So that's the way I would be looking at the IPO. And maybe track it in that direction. Sometimes you street top out. But yeah, I'd expect it's going to be in the midday. You never these things anywhere from, as everyone's really told you. So I'll be looking. There's no guarantee that it's going to open and go immediately up. Like when you print, like buyers to get you some alpha in the first couple of seconds. We got CrowdStrike earnings. Man, what a rough day, these earnings days. But at least they got an upgrade.
And CrowdStrike getting an upgrade, but the shares are certainly bought up today. Narrow beat here for EPS and revenue. This report.
ESP revenue beat, announcing a 4-stock split as the next split over here. Let's see the underlying billing miss. So institutional aggressively dumped this stock due to what they're calling a calculated billings. This is critical for working demand metric and showed that it was much weaker than the buy census had. Talk about that July 2024 Q. They disclose that their risk is still under the business risk is an explicit conflict. What they're saying is a lingering from that July 2024 disclose that the extending corporate. So there is still people who don't want to bandwagon because of. Let's also talk about that, to a $7 million flex margin crash. So here is the numbers looking robust. Marketed their new product, which is called Zero. They're giving corporations 3 months to try. So there's obviously no gain as a result of that. And this is very similar about where Palo Alto's having to give deep to get everybody on their platform networks. CrowdStrike just doing the same thing, but in also everybody was championing on GAAP net income $3 million. All right, well let's look at their GAAP net income loss. million. Basically blaming it on base compensation infrastructure capex. And again, insider selling. See, insider transaction shows that CEO George Kirk personally executed open market stock sales totaling $6.8 million over 6 months, and that exhausts the allowance that he.
It's a lot of selling from George Kurtz, who again was proudly that Ants will not replicate his company. How do you guys feel about CRWD?
If you were like, okay, I'm just going to trim Palo Alto and Palo Alto earnings, same price on CrowdStrike then as you would have today. It was the same thing. It would be yesterday as well. It gave you the chance to something out. The gap, not have gap when we know they're priced expensively. Get like this, okay, you're going to be down. You're going to get a little bit. And look at how far this rallied. There was a program to about the 200 period moving average here on the daily. That's really needs to hold here on crowd. But like give for 2 or 3 days, you'll have 640. I think you could have a little bit. Just try to. It was at the beginning. This was a $470 stock. A couple months was a $400 stock that nobody loved. Everyone was worried about Claude. So sometimes, like, it's great if you buy the 400, which you bought it 4 times instead of once. It is, but I have to settle down. Because if you lose 640, why is it crazy to be at 560? Or 50 period moving in $30. That's another here. It's not insane. Do I think that's today? No. Do I think that's gonna? I think we settle in at the $600 level. Will be the beginning of next. I know the tech names I'm going to be on. Like I said, it's Palantir. It's what am I for? SMCI and Fade here today. Maybe I'm not going to be trading CrowdStrike, but the trim it, and I don't this probably until another quarter to get back in.
Yeah, Dane generally is oversubscribed on QNT, but I think that's those. I just want to ask you if you were oversubscribed. I don't. Is a big number or not? I mean, it sounds big. I'll show you guys yesterday. We had a similar to where we had a nice in the payment, and this is what we did all day. I just want to show them about 9:45 yesterday on Palo. Made the same bottom again at 10:30. Zoom back out just a little bit more here. That's the 2 bottoms. Made a new high. Later it higher there. Ended up basically where we closed, where we opened yesterday on Palo Alto, beginning of the day. So I'm thinking something CrowdStrike. I'm going to try to call a bottom right now. Let's just wait to see what's happening. Market levels yesterday and then watched an initial great short opportunity. That if you're going to make a trade on CrowdStrike, if you have watch out. Everybody do whatever they want to do with their own trades, but breaks basically a 5 there on Palo Alto yesterday in CrowdStrike today. But you can't defend the numbers. They are what they are. Hit. Watch out for buyers to now come in on 10%. I like the space. Time to buy some more names here, like CrowdStrike, like technically broken down. You always want to give it a couple days, but buyers do come in. I mean, if it gets that 640, like definitely the for that name. But yeah, it's a bit ago at juncture, especially when the Nasdaq is bleeding down right there. We just saw, yeah. So it's 98 right now. More with crypto selling off a little bit. There it is. Oh, we have another back. We have to get rid. Making new lows now, down 15%. And think about these reports that are, I don't see QNT on. It'll get going and people start to focus more on that. Well, this is just a bond, so we'll look. Oh man, that's just, I clicked on IBIT. I thought IBIT, just to see crypto in a minute. 30%. I wrote down 36 and change. A minute and a half till open.
Of long positions I'm seeing here as for its fifth.
The crash below 62,000 triggering technical cap is wiped out. 1.63 bit of positions just in 24 hours. 1.38 billion were leveraged. Another, as we've been talking a lot about with Bitcoin, $396 million also ETFs. Understate this enough. Sailors selling, psychological effect on Bitcoin.
Good luck to all of the open as we send you back over to Sean.
Who would or tokens or whatever?
We sold nothing.
Yeah. Should be reporting here. A couple hundred buy in Bitcoin or $1 million buy, but times $70,000.
It's still it was more than it's been. So with 15 seconds to go, close the gap. It didn't fully close in the gap. To you, by go back. Want to appreciate them and thank them for as we ring the opening. Now, ding ding. Now, casino is open. The market is open. Palantir. No, it looks like there was. I didn't even Palantir. Okay. Into 144.
There goes the market.
That was the one. Yeah, it dropped into 140. Come back in here. SMCI is 140. Wow, SMCI screams resistance. So 40 resistance in here. We're gonna try to be patient of a fade. And what else? Crypto. Bitcoin's not. You know what? Has been a gentle move down every single day. Fail the pre-market high. So let it glide back into the pre-market. Maybe get a better.
It's too bad there wasn't really too many longs. I was thinking about flush as stack. We just come off pretty hard there. So we'll wait to like Apple. I was like thinking about. I was thinking possibly about it, and that just broke right on that move lower. It's Apple lower now. We'll see if it has anything to say. 1250 area. I think if we can take that back again, maybe we get back to early 90. Make any calls on that one. Earnings, CrowdStrike, boom. Some buyers coming into the name. There goes CrowdStrike, big. Now it's up. We'll wait to see if CrowdStrike can get going there. Let's go check out Broad going on there. I will have to edit this. I do 4:15 happens now with Crowd. You know, the name that was looking for tens there. Okay, here we go. Now Nvidia is starting to fall back. Apple making moves lower, and the market kind of flat to wait to see if there's anything going. 10 o'clock, Fed's Bowman speaks, then Fed 1, so there's
This STI small cap started all right. It's 9:32 and you already have a whole TI. That's
the market
on the watch list and going out.
What is that?
Actually, the tap is flat, so 26, 21 halt for the small capper trade. Small traders out there, not small cap. It'll be a 5-minute.
Small kappas.
More coffee, Neil. Coming back here, Bitcoin with the time volume spike. Obviously, it's the open, but a nice coming right into. It fills in. IBIT fills in the gap, and 3.6 on Bitcoin, so you'd have to 64 the prior day lows on Bitcoin to do so, but right now just because I had SMCI looking for this 47, looking for this, it is screaming into it. It's not doing subtle.
Yeah, here's one very surprising to me. 4 minutes as we go, and I started going up at 9:28 there, and then nice move higher for good them, and I guess now that's we did yesterday. As you get going now, rate levels here on Google. Just we'll have to wait to see the bid's going to eventually stop. But I've actually now to buy fall back into 360. We want going to be happening anytime soon. You mentioned to see what's on the scanners coming in. So just hit there PLTR potential. I think one near that low of 143. Let's buy a little bit of power at 143 and give it. We'll punch at some 56s. I'm still waiting at 40s as well. So right now 4s here on Palantir. About a 1 breaks that, then we want to get out. But here, put a little bit of a bid at 70. See that level 143. Not going to stop out at 3, but in and around that area, maybe something like that.
I'm dad tired. I'm dad tired.
Yeah,
about that.
About it.
How would you trade Broadcom? I for it that did not come to fruition, so being a trade for me. Maybe there still is. Like, you did get a bottoming tail when it failed 405 breakdown and then came right to team. Like, that's our scalp trade where it does a bottoming. That's the only trade I like red name like this. A little bit too crazy, so don't too hard. If it gets to similar thing, I just look for that. Like, go to like 99 or 90, back through 400 and take the break back, stop at the low. It's typically the way I like to play those. Right.
Oh.
Never mind. The buying, it's starting to hold some buy 6, really filling in the gap, but the pre-market high there. So it could end up being tail candle. That could be it. I'm just going to quickly sure BM&R is not a better setup, stronger, so I'd probably BM&R is like heavy.
All right, guys, we're doing 70 cents right now. I'm talking about buying that name into 143, one or so on that. I'm going to take, there we go. I was going to say I'm going to take some out at 25 VWAP. So there it goes. 100 period moving average. So boom, chalaga. Right there with Palantir. Guys, in your first club. And yeah, they're talking a little bit about last night about traders, real opportunity, getting going again and just getting, you're here for trading in some ideas as well. And there's Palantir Club member on as we continue to climb higher. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Right there, we give some props up. As there goes Palantir, $1.50 in the money. We are, and glad we sort of name. I'm already out of half though, so I haven't been doing anything out when this huge pop happens. So there it goes. Now $1.50 for this name, Palantir. Really here, we'll start our day off.
There it is, like it, and Palantir market slight notch, but it's right at the volume weighted average price. So a bit. I'm saying this thing is a short till it's not a single day. And I think it's half the initial trade. The last day that it probably be a loss. That's just how it is. It breaks the trend, and we're going to stop at the pre-market high, play back average price. We're not really doing too much out there, and strike. That's not the one I wanted to go to. Broad AVGO bouncing again, so I don't think we're going to get a run at the level on Broad. A little bit too strong. May not be the one, unfortunately. Fortunate for anyone that has a bit of a shot to be able to play that to the south side. South side at 4, and then on the strike, that's coming back in. If it gets 10 a similar concern, I'd look for that even dollar 650 type of level. So we took our first shot on IBIT. Time in a week actually breaks the pre-market high when we short it. Short hold it the entirety of the day, short the pre-market of the day. I feel like sometimes people are throwing out a baby with the bathwater, and you're getting stay down 1%. So I'm not going to just give a short. I might cancel my pound to support, and I don't think we're going to see that anymore.
Here now, it's now $2. Here we've hit up. There we go on P8. So congratulations, anybody that was up on looking. No, we're not done. Right, so Broadcom. Right, I'm just gonna let you guys know a third left. Let's go. Oh, I still didn't edit this. I'm actually quickly edit this. If you are high, 40, I'll put there, and the 10. Oops, 410.50 to this. There's Broadcom now down. Starting. I'm going to take one more piece out here at 50 if so take it out at 27 and waiting at 50, get a 50. Wow. Right there. Oh my God, that just went right to the upside. Now, I just want to make sure that so many times you've been in the money, and then it was like boom, shot the money. So, AAPL. I'll trade that here on the show. We will look at some small cap names. XST. Apple trying to find itself. XST decent holdings could be on, but yeah, there's the halt right there, and then DX. There's news on that one, up 37%. Been a nice move down. Almost looks like maybe, but updates on DXS. That name moving, and then Nvidia. I don't think Nvidia got made. If anything, man, Nvidia just took out of Palantir, and I guess of iBit as well. But I still like the.
I've reversed stock split in March for. I am not seeing anything else, but nothing that I'm seeing right now.
Okay, so split, but not
In March, yeah.
not
Reported preliminary unaudited revenue.
Oh, okay.
That's way old.
But I don't believe it was March as well.
From January.
Oh, there goes the
Either way, it's halted.
Yeah, it. Oh, and then this name just halted as well. RE Resources volume there. We just wanted to bring that to your. Always looking for those early runners. That's going on early. Like nice. Wow, Crouch up to 7 bills, but then came ready. Those warning trade that I was talking about. If you break out now, but we move there for CrowdStrike now up $20 and Spam City in the hood. Yeah, man, that looks right. Right now, Robin 84.50 going.
Well, that wasn't everybody.
No. Happy PDT for everybody. Stack though downside, and we wanted the short and the narrow down AQs. We did not get there. Trying to be our levels to hit, but it's Palantir in and not much else for me.
To Bitcoin yet. It is signs of not rolling over, maybe coming back in, but you're still putting on the short trend break, which oddly enough, looks like it is doing. Ooh, this was the confirmation candle. You want here, not there, but this turned right into our zone. So as long as somewhat a second crack at it, okay, now Bitcoin's a little bit of a turn. That one on a similar, sort of a similar look. A bull flag and break, and we'll try to get in IBIT. What we didn't just there is another topping tail. Plays back into the volume weighted average price. You're going to see this opportunity strike where you're going to actually flat record now at the market lows. They just keep on coming back. We'll be able to get rid of these for good. For the first place, reversion type play. It's at 405 any moment, obviously. That price rather quickly. So we're out at the pre-market high, topping tail wick, and play this down average price on I. It is. It would suck if bullish looking morning is unable to actually hold up for I short until it's not. And maybe even BM. BM and R look too, but both of them.
We're too focused on watching that pound on our own notes. 36.50 there for Bitcoin that we waited. 35 there, 36, 37. So there, thanks Neil for because definitely a short, I believe, is it's not. Here's the minute chart here, looking at the DXY. Nothing. Often when we're trying to find momentum in the stock market. I tend to look at now it's very, very flat. So, on that one and see what's going on with the Fed. And just let's go have a quick little look to see we're not going to get. There still is a chance for a cut at 17th of June. So, yeah, it's a non-zero event. So, ends up coming through. Not dramatic. I'm just going to cover that so that later on to be able to say, okay, there is about 4%. Tesla pretty choppy this morning, right? But it does 100 period moving average, so that often looked at, and wait to see a 422. Talked about it earlier. That 4 is another key level, which obviously Tesla, and yeah, we have that level. If we can get it one more time, 420 zone there, and I just got some more 50s at 40 lower. I'm going to take out TS right now and see if I there you go. Okay, good. Ooh. I was like, maybe I just should 50 period, but we're pretty light on it. Let's get out of the hole. Shout out to Drake. If it breaks through 1, Drake said another hip-hop song of all time, hip-hop or rap, be number 1 on Billboard week. So shout out to that one. Poor Janice, man. This summer, that's for sure. Put the stock at 140. Oh, Palantir just broke. Okay, so now we should have Palantir. So let's just do that. We'll take an all to see what ones of PLTR as it breaks through. Loading this name.
Yeah, just in what the. Okay, sorry, guys. Friday, that it's data.
Oh boy.
Down 8%. I don't know what's up. Let me look at. Hopefully, it's not. Like, look at 8.
Yes.
There you go. Can at least look at that. In 13, but now bounce. Prior lows held. Lows is. I think that sets up as a pretty decent short spot to 111. If I can, really, there it is. It just filled in. I was the reversal on Micron to 1,000. A lot been like anything else. It's been Micron. If these guys are taking it on the chin, well, it might not bode well. If it's under VWAP, it just makes more. That's Intel's looking a little relatively topping tail candle, or a little more just in front of the offer. Big WAP is already starting to come. So we're able to get some out half. It doesn't seem to want to as much C. So a little bit of strength coming in. Continue. I think you get outsized moves to the times. I feel as if it ends up being a long in BMNR. TR. I don't think it would be an IBIT. I actually one of these, but I'm not there to break the high.
All right, doing too much. 227 and change. Let's take a quick look. It's right now. So I'm trying to still look shares to chat, but this is the financial sector. Wow. Shout out. Oh yeah. By the way, we don't normally write down plays on our sticky note because we of individuals. Get Eli Lilly this morning almost on in your long, even, I mean, forget about long term, man. Go any, because I see what winds up happening, and this is what Eli Lilly, 3.4% new all-time highs here. It's 1150, so we're getting close. As here's the minute, I just wanted to tell you there. So there's the move higher. We talked about anniversary already, but to the upside, therefore, they're working on. I heard Kramer say it might be called G like that. New components. The fat loss is still, but the is like way less. So the new one there finally solidify Retatrutide, and it's not reps thing or something like that. Doesn't matter what the name of it is, but like for sure, like
it's money. I don't have.
That's my largest. I've already said it was down in data. The largest holding that I have outside of tech, and wanting to add. But there it goes, Eli Lilly. Wow, the higher it goes right now, 20, and still goes one, right? Like some of the, the stock right into, a B that has benefiting their stock sell, benefiting as well as that sec. Faster drug testing, faster, device because of AI, and calculate pounds and whatnot. So, anyways, there's broad low. Neil, but did CrowdStrike do anything? I'm a bit short. Hopefully that comes in. No, now not the
Play.
Yeah, that'll play.
Yeah, you can maybe the.
I was just looking at Broadcom. They're at the lows. So.
Nah. Well,
wow, Oscar, hell.
One could have. We do have an IPO in the.
Yeah, what is it? What
so
price?
It's not. I'm hoping is I don't actually yet. I have been in balance dedicated to just the IPOs today. So that means they have. I thought you might get some to be able to be faded when they're ready. That's not going anywhere. So that's at least. If you looked at this morning, 7 names were actually, and were not. Well, one of them, I shouldn't say one of them. So in this bounce that we're getting, could be the names to pit alongside, because I don't know, 2 on pound here. It doesn't look like it. Now, I've been same thing. SMCI, maybe under the 47, or this high right here, 47.5. So when I say this resistance, I get there, and there's still a chance we could pretty strong down at the bottom. So unless something happens in or Bitcoin on a reload, patiently wait for something in one of those Meg 7 names. Iron got bombed. That could be.
It was market
7%.
Oh, is it like that? It'll be better. Then we have a super chat if you want.
Iron.
Waiting for 45s. The either multiple ones. We can talk about anything. Oh no, that is my bad. Sorry, it's this dog. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for that. It is. It's Retratude. Retrutide. Retrutide. who tried GLP-3, right? So blood glucose issues, assist lipolysis, okay? Hepatitis. Okay. So there's someone that knows. Thank you for your. We talked about Eli Lilly. I'm already long-term portfolio play there, and I don't think it's obvious, right? So, shout out to you that are on. Those of you that are making money. My guy over here, man. We're not a great of this Oscar trade. We've been talking very, very. Search Twitter and go back. This is where we've been buying this name, like up another 12% upgrade today. Let's go, Oscar. Now, not one here in the money on Palantir as to the upside as well. Someone some money out there. Selves, that's for sure. Let's be, and I love my. We'll talk about. He's thinking about Rivian maybe over there, but here's a whole heck of a lot. Right, it's underneath VWAP. I think if this, it looks like lose the bid here, maybe at that 420 and Randy. So here we go, man. Actually making moves now, so we'll have to wait to see our twos and our two.
It was actually a really good short yesterday.
To come into, I have to wait for that one.
Rivian at 18 was
Ripping, by the
was a huge. It gets back. It was a double there. That could be for Rivian up at that 18 and a half. Sure. Yeah, we're looking like the quantum thing. So Saj M in the chat was asking us. The other one, not going to play that. When we're interested in the INIO is actually technically just one of them is in the quantum space, and we just give the I think just more hype is 20. So, I'm not sat there trying to do two I. Actually, I think that the other one opens up, and at the same time. Now that I think about this, I wouldn't do it here. Come on, do confirm a lower.
I don't think you need to worry. It is the risk, of course. Well, NASDAQ today, or are they both?
I didn't really look much into this IO group. They're both, but really at the same time.
No,
it's just more. I'd always have a preference. One, just taking the opening print. You want to be able to get your stop. And all of a sudden, one pops in. Maybe it ends up being quantum one today. Oh, come on. Pop to SMCI. Because the only thing going on right now, I bid our re-entry price, but you need to take shares and just. I like to try to get swept back up, but if I don't get it, then I'll allow it to show me just staying for more tight, a tighter entry confirmation that we're losing here, but instead of get it on the way back in. This STI, it's now full of time down, one up, 6%. The biggest of the small cap runners, if you happen to, a lot of buyers came much on the downhaul, which is typically a good sign. Buying, it just goes to show right on this. I'm not too far up to be I would hold like short, like a trend break on this. They don't. I don't try those strategies on this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's far to chase to 500%, but the buyers are in control.
Been on trade here. I'm waiting at 35s here come through. So let's wait to see an offer. We'll hopefully be able to trade the short side. You know, really just trying to give it to down for IBIT. So I don't necessarily want to get some take like two that price 35s, 39s at the high of the day, and then gonna give it a little lines of having, you know, which hopefully going to be our good friend on the short side. But hey, man, I mean, if that was, you know, if the MSTR today, nice move higher, but not a great move higher. That, you know, considering what IBIT's up now. So that was sort of the conversion. TR up, IBIT down. Time frames. Just talking MST trade after hours and pre situation there obviously has turned 24.5. I haven't heard too much talk about that. Is the PDT? Let us know here today. Are you trading like those on that? Good. I move up to $85. All of you guys in the PDT roll that, but there it goes. Now is Robinhood's to see where exactly comes in from Robinhood. Long at 82.50. That's your period moving average. Before I go, did Bron lower? Wow, 405. Okay, key level. We've already broke.
I want to see 400.
Yeah, exactly. Potentially to get that, and then we didn't look yet. They had a nice an absolute little months. They're pulling back just a lot of the day. All and a clock. No numbers coming, but look at take out the top. So CrowdStrike, that looks like they're trying to get. We sort of security a good space for sure. CrowdStrike last couple of days. Let's for her 10 o'clock report.
Things market trying to past few minutes of the day. Headlines coming out of the U.S. and are repeatedly saying bad deal. Iran's revolutionary will never be stable from their occupied areas in Lebanon talks really well. Just be aware here is some comments from Fed Treasury Secretary Bassin. Both those at the start. I'll keep you guys posted and cover remarks from. Let's talk about AVGO because we talked about this breaking day's lows. Now AVGO hanging was not a super well received concern. CrowdStrike also a mixed. Now maybe trying to push to include C3AI morning. UAV system, so quite a few earnings day one today. UNH, no in the health insurance sector higher from Lululemon reporting after the bell. Be aware of include DocuSign, SBL, and IoT earnings week. Big names reporting in the back half of the. Sean.
We're watching out for the rate right now. Told you this 639, so we there, and now 70 cents higher now. Only trade I have making one for Palantir. I mean, more opportunities. We're into that's something to look at. The one thing I also was what did you and I were just talking. Oh,
Yeah.
so nothing to go too. We had talked here today. Halt. STI of it. So I wanted to bring that to you. Has now halted. STI. All right. Oh man, doing too many things here. Get ready for the big event at Trade the Pool Champion 6. It's all coming together with top across the industry. Your chance to win huge prizes, $20,000 in calculation accounts, exclusive giveaways spent throughout the competition. Is to join and register free shots. Scan the QR on your screen. This is signing up trading championship of 6, and as always, man, we want continued sponsorship. And hey, man, if you want some 2026 with them, their ad will have.
So, to a certain event that's happening this
yeah,
month.
We'll take out a little bit right here, and we're on have a decent position, so we're going to take 3 on IBIT. If it gets back in, really looking at $1. I do have it now. Sorry, at 26, and then we'll wait to see that. But so far, so good here. Do we? Yes, we do. 2 for 2 today, baby. One is 8 cents in the money. So far, what winds up happening? There's coffee fees again.
See, the problem. How long has this been there? How long? No,
what did I do?
I didn't even know.
2 Randys. Okay, all right. There.
Andre always do that. If the coffee,
He's like, your coffee's getting.
Seriously? So the IBIT, just wanted to show failed the high on IBIT, but play back it this way. So I feel like it's better for continuous. It's obvious if a stock goes and lower highs, it's weak. Well, the other looks like a bit of a hold, but I went low and then see how far it can go. And then you go back into the high price, take some out into support for 36. The NASDAQ just, so, yeah, that's all on NVIDIA. NVIDIA, this is your fault. I looked at, and it just broke the market is in the morning. That's really starting to come. Not on broad, doesn't want 400 up at that like it's going to make the run. It's just not happening. 15%, right? Sometimes you're down, I suppose. This is the bottom, 403, 404. Doesn't mean it's going to get there.
404. Bounce off 3. Nice move higher. All right, man. We did put props up. I told you trading minutes, so we talked about that. So we do get some still their 25s. Very, very happy with that, and wait to see what winds up happening. With IBIT gonna around 60. It wants to get sort of in. That's never going to stop. So put them in the chat. STR move open higher. Maybe the news on this, Adara, again.
Batteries.
That's about right.
Howard. So there we go. Space, Adara. One as, yeah. Oh wow. Where now? 37.18. That might have been the halt band. Wait to, okay, well, you know, that's where it was. Now we're going to win. I don't know if this is the guy. I know Adair just gave us a story a little bit deeper. A lot of you today on happy of PDT rule. Looking for an overview. I just want to quickly. Yeah, two
false halts again.
False halt. Float right there. You guys have a look at that name. Kind of trading for you. One of those runners today. It's moves. It's a halt band.
This time it's gonna halt.
Yeah. So nope. Of course, if it stays at that band and 15. Does break it. So there it is again. So start on. I mean, I could every time. So long. Kind of a the right idea. So yeah, and I don't know why I did. Nice move there. As the tech trade idea,
that's profit takers.
Was of course back in just the trade was shorting the national. Okay, and I want to buy is that close to that 210 area that we talked about. So yeah, getting dropped out on a run here pretty nicely.
It just a couple of extra seconds, but stopping out. It's a couple of times. It hasn't come close a little bit out, but and it only then I'm only half or a third going to be every single time. The market's here. It's back. This needs to show me another flop. And then I try to jump back in on the way back. Be taking anything relative against me. Trend break here. Let's see others break out the trend above VY. I'm just going to move broad. It's now 10-10. If Broad would have done it already, disappointment there. 400 test on Broadcom. So put that. SoFi's up 3% today. It was over in Robinhood, so maybe 17 here. Otherwise, this that you broke in the downtrend at Hood, yeah, that a bit higher, but it needs another one. 80. We just heard 61.
Yeah.
So the and now 50, 61, 50, which doesn't make any sense. Auction.
No, I think it's probably like yours. Just as
impossible.
Up. Go try to falling right back in. So we are here. I mean, I still have less than 5% sort of talking about. I don't even know what we were doing. That was only 10 minutes ago. 46.30. Now we're down. I do have a bid at 140 there. At 140 interesting on the low side of Palantir. Really stop out 142. If we'll work on it. So Palantir right now, and we will keep on updating 6150 now. See what there is some interest here today, and we can always sort it. It's small right now. There it is right here on the bid. So we'll just and talk about it for QNT coverage. That is could be your spot for Tesla coverage. Look at that mark. I even did this little just to be fun, and 20 is that bounce Tesla as it's just moved charged. Oh. But there it goes, man. 420 on the upside. I didn't want quite yet at this little bit if it's going to give it to us. I was waiting, and that was there's the 50 period moving. So we want to see if that means run higher. Maybe now I still on the over did get some midday, and then CrowdStrike is as long as over 700. It's now fallen back 1.7 1/2. So life. Looking, man, is a question there from L. Very, very high valuations devices. You're getting a move down if you do like it would be on discount. I would rather goes up and it's still early days. So sure, this could be something to talk about.
But SM still get up and got half, but then still held half, and not as weak. Like I feel like there's been short, but I just gotta move on to the next. Breaking trend through the I don't enter. It shows you might have trapped some people to just get into long. Way too early. The other clean trend first dip is gonna have to be a break on IBIT. But next, again, still nothing crazy. Broadcom might have been an SSR. When a stock is sent down, let's look for that bottoming tail. Sometimes, and there's not much you can do about it. Those I back to 60 on QNT. Yeah, I'm hoping it keeps there. Rigetti or something, or like maybe, and there'll be like names throughout the middle.
I'm short the market top wick that we just made here. There we go. We're out and bleed through on this one on higher. I get 200 as we've battled all the way back ahead. Finding to sit in that one, and rules there on IBIT, but there comes flat on this. IBIT goes there 30 bid down there. We fall too. So regardless of how much money, a little bit out, if it there 36, 35 or so, to see if that IBIT. So that's what we're doing. give up on this. This might be something here. It's just, right? I mean, we saw NVIDIA to our 10 level, got to 11. And I mean, like, this could be a short, but are we actually, I don't know if that's the right break a little higher. Not a horrible. We're trying to battle back for that. If anything, in 15, like the better picking up because my scanner is pretty. You know, if you look at, so we have 4, like some down when I looked earlier. Wow, that actually Apple flat 15%. That's what it was before. Up to going down there. We saw Micron. Wow, okay. Show today that we should now 8%ing 1,000 finally. 80, I guess. So yeah, Micron red days now. Okay, all the software names now, and we can't hold bid. About a third of what we're waiting for 142. It's about to cross. So yeah, Palantir, not at these levels. Bid 50 area. That winds up on PLT. Now at 140, couple seconds, told you where the market, right? Up. So
that's just the rotation. I mean, that issue is that you get a for names, and it's sort of, if I got a top, I was going to take Intel. Kind of, so look at the, it'll be a relatively structural. I will short this whole topping to Intel. Time. Oh, might have missed it.
Oh yeah, I got.
So we just bit. So that trend, and look for a trend reverse. Trying to pick up on like get anything. Have build still. Eventually get filled, and it's going to act. Like it does. You're going to get that filled. So they try and then try not to go too much off of tail candle. Markets obviously, this one has been wrong with that a little bit. Want to double check everything. Okay. Where futures up NVIDIA. I'm looking at Intel with it, and exactly the same spot. Well, great place to pick. No doubt about it, because we're being right at the precipice. I think it's binary, right? Are these suckers going to break it back short? I'm favoring the so that's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay, so here we go. I bit short. We have right now this bit for a little bit higher. We want button. Get now. fast QQs, and there we go now on our so IBIT downside through, but we did. Obviously, we're going to stay with the phase. It breaks lower. So number one for me, both starting to get spicy here. And their thing to do the IBIT of it. That's IBIT for you. It's 10.20.
Which means it's time for us to talk about the man extreme targeting artificial. So batteries for space here, STI, two hot topics. Let's talk. TXCI recently in that room, the goal of this is recurring revenue to triple that ARR has rallied in the beverage group. They recently did complaint was submitted on May 28th. Stock currently trading per share. Back to you.
The halted down 29 on STI. Action price, it just means dividend, but it's not opening too like so. I didn't pay for the period, so like 11 cents per share, but it's a $30. I'd say that's realistically that's going to go. Is another bid and breaks the high, expensive, but that look, NVIDIA and investing at this moment we talk influence, so it does. Like Intel 50 pennies, abs that and hold for a little bit lower. It could go either way here. Get led by the bigger names, not a follower. I think that if the bid hugging, want to see. They're both pretty sexy, static. There's no real number get bigger and bigger and move up.
Right. So we did Williams. I'm just giving it to 90s right there. I don't know. I thought the market was near the price might come in, but it's already 10. It's not that we're getting impatient to see if it wants at some point. And that more and more, and we'll come there. So, or on continues to make some period now for big ATR as well could be a play, but it looks like this TQQ play. I was gonna say starting to get nasty to the ups, break through. We tried it there. The reload really there. Nice move higher. I think now we got, and some of you there in your short. I don't have, I mean, up and et cetera, et cetera. So we're not going to decide on the TQs. We back in the future, but for crypto, so now where this crypto, a lot of upside. Palantir, I mean, not here. Started to go, thought down 0.%, but double was due, up on use of software names. So crypto, we just got our 30 fill. Another lower. I actually have another bid right there. We've already got comes so at least the level that we working to see where it goes. We'll reshort it.
Well, I'm definitely not unless it gets to 1, but it had a nice trend down as close as we could so that the profits, so it's just a little bit too strong, too high. AT is up it. I didn't see anything. Not that it a couple of times, or it has a political stage. It's usually pay for Joe. His name is like Rory. Does everything set up. Check if there's no story or he does the topic thing, obviously. Type it because for support, I'm waiting to move up, but I don't. It's playing this weighted average structure of the trade, unfair, one volume weighted average price. Other bids. JT, there's nothing to it. And here, I just want to show you the daily chart. I'm not resist week. Should have led with that. 950s. It's not some random level.
Hot story. Yesterday we bought $22. Congratulations. And some value there. And you didn't get 22. Take it, you would have got take a quarter break. Up. I think that's take right up to an ooh again. I'm gonna wait for 85 or so. I'll play here out there, take it in and stop out of the to do, making sure that we can handle and see what I'm. I mean, right back into fourth, like these up then down. So yeah, man, has to just be either one of these lines forward, and right now it looks like. But let's just say you take for you. Who next? Because 19 for sure to break. So I think 418 make more side. So that's really all you have. This ball will wind up happening there. I'll stop out yet. but you know, I've seen it. We'll take, and we're getting lighter. I only left, and then what's our develop? Yeah, back right there we go, bang. As no. Okay. 7. Yeah, but nice. $15 from its. That's not. From those for me, man. Right now, it is all the 650s was that we didn't as I bid those clean outs. Now it does come back in. Finally turns. We'll wait to see.
Actually at over, right? So
I was looking at.
Yeah, resistance in the pre 33.50. I sort of make because I don't know if it's true. I'm like, okay, doesn't make any sense. But in a bid in 35, so the 35 view front, blah blah blah, tighter for instance, depending. Typically gonna tighten. It bounces. What does that mean? That is holding the risk. It is relatively that happen. Just I bid is coming next bid with consider, but like if it bounces, then I would just move from rate in the volume weighted average price. You might see that. Like I mean, when it was heard me say, I don't know, you have to break to get. It's really just an 50 period round number. Or show some kind of, but we all was theoretical. I guess Microsoft probably software names bad work on a little bit on all the way back. Be freaking it. It's you just see type names in IG. Whenever that means you probably don't rolling over. Start.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. And that's it, right? So you're all the way. Wow. Yeah. 23 for game show for right now. Oh, that's it. This was that show.
Easy.
Very tasty. All right. There. A little look there. You Pasco 20 batteries. Base our next. We asked about powering those rockets space on space sound. All right, so they're coming and halted a couple times. Whenever they're still thing is about is it's a lot of those you that long range. It's the so bucks rate. You know, too much money, but 20 million to play on. Welcome to PA, and that reason why there is a name. So it took early 80 higher. Two had 18 on iBid rating. So bigger plus CA volunteers still back into the talking to my maybe if it, I think the market a little level Eli there and a half percent face today able to get some of that 50 or on talking about retail more. Here's health. UNH Oscars not in Oscar. That's stock. OS, one of my picks. There goes, man, Oscar. And you know, IO today. But Sam Stock and Lulu later on tonight. Man, in today will be here, and then
teams. I just teams. I'll move up. That did have a little bit of a not nothing to do with the Knicks. Funny. He was up. Was still for him saying, look at arms not really. It did. It's just that it's still putting in lower. Because I sold another try. Yeah, but look at this. Like head and shoulder breakdown over a few minutes. It doesn't look too good. Even try still break, and he had some body range. Just still feels. Yeah, I still think sell. Waiting for the AAPL. We're just chilling out. That 2020 now. See one where there's a. It's that pricing or a bit like a ragged up. That happens. Both of the fade just fades is a lot of times that the trend into the, I think, in addition to just for another couple.
All right. Just looking at.
Much of this nowadays here today, really getting over by finance AAPL. Little bit issues here. 10 a.m. Here 10 a.m. but 15% micron 3.5% of the percent that make up are pushing for 80.
Nice rate now. Your average here, our rate today, and we talked to there yesterday. Didn't do a shop and realize our valid $300. It didn't broad this respected. Wondering about that. Go like bad